Yes, we here again with Big Rob Children Book, and it's sponsored by HBCU National Boosters Club with HBCU Talk. I got my man here, Devin Drake, and we're gonna be talking tonight about. Hey, Devin, how you doing?
What's up, Big Rob?
All right, it's my man Devin Drake, entrepreneur, author, businessman. I mean, Devin got he's a pillar of the community, and we're going to be talking about why we should buy local. And this is sponsored by HBCU National Boosters Club, where we raise money for historical black colleges. And there's 107 historical black colleges with 288,000 young people and adults that attend. 96 to 87% people of color, indigenous people. Deb, tonight, me and you always had this conversation, and
Yes.
one of the things that we always talk about was why we don't take our dollars and circulate it back in our community. And one of the questions I want to ask you is like, why do you think that we people of color don't circulate our dollars back to our own people?
Well, Rob, they call me the truth, so that's what you're going to get tonight.
Right.
So I'm going to keep it absolutely true with you. A lot of it starts with us, and I'm going to be honest with you. And when I say a lot of it starts with us, it's because it's not so much the customers. Sometimes it's the black businesses. Sometimes black businesses just assume just because they're a black business that we're automatically being black customers, as opposed to shop with them. But they forget the most important parts of business, and that's customer service.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like we eat every day. I'm gonna just give you an example. We eat every day. We all eat pretty much 7 days a week.
Right.
And sometimes on a Monday, I'm in the mood for soul food. And I go to a soul food restaurant on a Monday, they close. So I had this conversation with soul food restaurant owner. And what they told me is because Mondays, because it's not a lot of customers, so what they do, and they use it to, restock and do that kind of stuff. Right. But I'm thinking to myself, every other restaurant that I know is open 7 days a week. Why can't black restaurants be open 7 days a week too?
Right.
So they got to get more creative, like having certain type of specials or something like that on a Monday to bring customers in. And do all the stuff that you have to do, like restock and all that stuff you can do while the restaurant is open, or be a little bit early before the restaurant opens, or a little bit later after the restaurant closes. So a lot of it is not the customers. Some of it is our black businesses, especially when it comes to customer service.
So you saying I'm a business owner,
and you own restaurants,
right? And I own restaurants, and what I've got as an owner of a restaurant and a barbershop. Well, they would come in, Afro Americans would come in, and they would be like, "Yo, Sleep, I know the steak sandwich is $6.99.
I know where this is going.
Let me get it for $5.99." And I could sit at some of my white friends' restaurant, and they don't go through that, and they don't go through trying to jimmy down a price of a sandwich. Like even at a bodega could sell you a $3.99 sandwich, right? But it's considered a sodium, tons of salt, and just all kind of like food that we shouldn't put inside our bodies, right? But they go in, and the bodega, the floor could be filthy dirty, the ceiling could be falling apart. They got about 7 cats. Right?
I was going to say that.
And they'll buy the sandwich and be like, "Bobby, good looking, Bobby." But then I come in, I give them boar's head, right? I give them some good bread. I give
Good
them
cheese.
good cheese, onion fresh, and I said, well, the sandwich is $8.99. Yo, I can get
Mhm.
this same sandwich for Poppy for $3.99. But I said, Poppy gonna give you high blood pressure and go and go and go and go shut down your veins and your bloodstream. So how do we? And then out of that, how do we? And then in some of the inner cities of Black America, and I don't like to call Black America hoods because that's a mindset.
You're right.
But
I agree.
a hood is a mindset. But the thing is that we don't get our community police around our businesses the same way they go down to like in the net in Newark. You go down to Ferry Street, they police it differently than they police the area up on South Orange Avenue. So the businesses struggle because now you gotta go outside and fight for your business, and which you should only be happy to do is come in and open up your business. Like those are the struggles that we go through in our own communities. So how
Yeah,
do we
because
open?
you're not going to double park on South Orange Avenue, but you can double park down Neck.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that definitely is an issue because parking is definitely affects your business.
Exactly. So now I'm sitting there and I'm fighting with the street hustlers, right? I'm fighting with the bodega with the $3.99 sandwich, right? And I'm fighting with the mindset.
Well, let's look at it this way. When you're dealing with people in inner cities, you know, the monies are different than when you talk about dealing with people in more urban areas.
Right.
So they're not necessarily looking for quality. And, you know, and businesses spend big money testing this type of stuff.
Right.
So, you know, so when you're talking about quality and paying more in certain neighborhoods, that's not a concern. That's not, to most people, that's not a concern. They just want to fill their stomachs. They don't care if you're going to give them high blood pressure because they're not going to get high blood pressure while they're eating a sandwich. So they don't care about that.
But look what you're saying, Devin. You're saying that I have to move outside of my community to open up a business.
No, not necessarily, because you don't. Let's take what is it downtown on or Halsey Street, the sandwich place, the Jewish sandwich spot.
Hobbies.
Right. Now Hobbies give you a lot of meat on a sandwich.
Right.
Right. And then their sandwiches were expensive too, but they also gave you quantity.
Exactly.
As well as quality, because you know it's you know halal. Right. And people and they stayed in business a long time. So they're still down there if I'm correct, right?
Right.
Right. So a lot of I don't know because I used to own an apparel store. So a lot of times what it is you have to train your customers. You see, if you're going to sell what you're selling, you sell it. You're going to get those customers that are going to appreciate better quality sandwich.
Right.
And those that want the cheap sandwich will let them go get the cheap sandwich. Just like anything, though. You're going to have a lot of things that are going to be better quality than some other products. People that don't mind the lesser quality, they'll go shop there. People that want better quality, they're going to go shop there. So you will get the customers. It's just a buildup, you know. And then, like anything, business, especially when it comes to any type of business, is marketing. So if people don't know what you have, then it doesn't matter how good your product is. If don't nobody know that you have it.
Right. So because I just look like I was just in Houston, then I was in Atlanta, and then I was in North Carolina. And what I'm noticing is that the Southern blacks, the mindset is different because when I was I don't know if it was because how slavery was put in place into the South and to the North. Well, I was in the South, and their initiative was we support
Black business,
Black businesses. And when I was in Houston, it was same thing. Atlanta, same thing. And it was places. So I know that Black businesses could be successful, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But the thing was that I was in. So I come here to Jersey. Now, what I am learning is that Harlem is changing the narrative. Because
Mm-hmm.
when I go into Harlem, they got the Cozy Corner, they got Red Rooster, and those are some very popular places that Afro Americans of middle class and all classes go and they
Right.
sit down and eat. So New York is picking up in this area, but Harlem has always been that way. Harlem
But
always
yeah,
had
right.
that.
I was going to say to you, that's the mecca of blackness right there.
Yeah,
So supporting black business has always been a thing in Harlem, even though they
right,
tried to gentrify Harlem, which they're doing or did, but still people will still look out for black businesses there.
right.
So
So
that's
then you go, and you've been a businessman. If you had to change the trajectory in the New Jersey, Newark area, Essex County area, what would be some of the things that you would say to black business owners?
well, number one, like I said from the beginning, it's customer service. Because no matter what, if you get bad customer service, you're not coming back. You lost that customer. Greeting people when they come through the door, not checking on them every once in a half hour, but checking on them like every maybe 10 minutes or so. Being polite, you know what I'm saying? Offering some things. Like if you go to some restaurants, they give you bread. They don't charge you for that bread. Give you a little something. So you feel like you're getting a little something extra for your money. You know what I'm saying? You go to some black restaurants, they don't. So I've been to some where they may put cornbread on the table. This is free, So, but a lot of them no. So you're not getting nothing extra for your money. You get an extra refill if you get, iced tea. It comes out the fountain anyway. I mean, like it's just unfortunately because this is just the way that black people think. You need to
Would
get
you say
something.
black people, or you would say some black people?
Well,
Don't
some
say
black people, a lot of
right.
black people. They especially when they go to black businesses, they want something extra for their money.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then again, and like I said, and also the marketing part. Like we think that just because you're a black business and you got to sign up, that we just automatically just come in. But it's that marketing, putting flyers out in the neighborhood, letting people know that you're there, what you're selling, what you got going on. And like I said, doing offerings of some kind, some type of specials on a Monday or Tuesday or whatever. Like you got to be in the community. You can't just be in your storefront. You got to push your business outside of the store.
Do you think that has something to do with economics?
Well, everything is always economics. It's always economics. It's always about the economic part of any business that you have. So yes, economics is a big part of it. But the things that I'm saying to do is not something that is really expensive or costly to the business. You know what I'm saying? So it's like every certain amount of dollars that you spend on your business brings in an X amount of dollars to your business.
I want to ask you a question. Like we from the Essex County, Newark area, right?
Right.
We have 4 black mayors. We have the mayor of Orange. I don't know his
East
name.
Orange,
What's
Newark,
and
and
Irvington.
Yes.
A couple months ago, I saw them have a round table where they try to come together, and I think they brought the police department together.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why is it that we have black leadership within a 10-mile radius, right?
Mm-hmm.
With a capacity of maybe 500,000 people, which is 65% maybe people of color. And why you think that these 4 brothers can, I'm not say can't, why you think that our communities are not safer and not have a better business plan when it comes to restaurant development and how to circulate the black dollar into the local businesses and keep the dollar in the community? Why you feel do you feel like they're doing a good job when it comes to that?
Well, understanding politics, I know that is first of all, it's not just because the mayor wants to do something that it's going to happen. So that has to go through a certain process. The city council, they have to vote on that. Then of course the monies that's involved. So there's the budget that's involved, however much their budget is for each city. Of course, Newark has the larger budget. I know East Orange. I know the mayor of East Orange very well. We grew up together, and I know he was trying to do and bring some more mainstream type restaurants. And I think he is still doing something like with that Brick Church area. There's going to be some changes. So, but it's a process. And a mayor, remember, only has 4 years. So to get something going, first of all, when the mayor takes office, that first year, he's trying to get himself together. Then that second year.
But Dad, we've been having black mayors in these 4 cities for the last 30-some years.
But you remember,
I understand. For the last 30-some years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mass murders, robberies, carjackings, not really high-end restaurants. And you just take 5 steps outside of Irvington and go into Union restaurants. You go 5 steps out and go down Ferry Street, which don't even look like Newark. And I know the mayor has something to do with it, but that community works together, that Portuguese community.
Oh, absolutely.
Then you go 5 steps out of Orange, East Orange, and you go right into South Orange. And man, you could darn it take your shoes off and kick your feet back and eat a slice of pizza up there with your daughter and not worry about nobody getting shot. So what I'm saying to you is that why in the world in our community that we can't enjoy sitting outside in the table and enjoy a nice meal and feel safe? Like I mean, we have Newark, Irvington, East Orange, 4 black mayors, all black men.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying to myself, it's like, I see some of the great things, that Roz is trying to do. And I see some of the things they're trying to do. East Orange, I don't even think he know what he's doing. That's my thinking. That's not yours. That's my thinking.
Right. I got you.
And right. But the thing is that how do we change that trajectory? Like, because last election, only 25,000 people came out. 27,000 people came out and voted in the Newark election. And I'm asking myself, why do I have to go all the way to Ferry Street? Why do I have to go all the way to Union Edison, right, to enjoy a fabulous meal? Now, in Newark, I noticed that Applebee's, no, everybody don't go to Applebee's because Applebee's is like McDonald's now.
Right.
Right. So, but the thing is that why is it that in our community, where we can have vibrant, beautiful places to go listen to music, why is this so much control over the liquor license to offer young entrepreneurs liquor license and businesses in our community? But in other communities, man, where are these liquor licenses coming in the Portuguese community? Where are they coming from?
But again, now let me tackle one thing first. One is economics. So when you're talking about liquor licenses, you're talking about the city. That's city money. So Newark their businesses generate more money, let's say, than Orange.
Mm-hmm.
So your liquor license is going to be more. Right. So they base it on the generation of business.
Right.
So that's where that disparity comes in. The safety part, I mean, look, Black communities are starving communities. There's not as many opportunities for Black people, and the education gap is there. And we don't know what the crack era did to our Black communities. So there's a lot of things that push back on Black communities that make that a little bit more difficult. Now, I do agree that, yes, I believe the mayors can do something. But again, it's always go back to economics. When you talk about safety, you can have the police work in some of these places where then people won't mess around there because they know the police are there. But then that costs to take a cop off the street when there's so many other things going on, or the restaurateurs, they can't put that extra money out to pay for that type of security because cops want $40 to $50 an hour. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot there. But let me say this though, and I'm not going to just put this on the mayors or the restaurateurs. I'm gonna put this on us. We, as a community, need to do better. We are every single person is responsible for themselves and
No,
the
no, no.
choices they make.
Can I say something? I get that, but you also have to identify your leadership. And I'm not saying that. I'm looking at four brothers. I call them the four horsemen, right?
All right.
And they represent a huge space in New Jersey, which
Mm-hmm.
is, if you put those four cities together, you almost got 400,000 people, and then abroad, across. I'm talking about people of color, indigenous people, Hispanic, Black. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that, why don't we adopt some of the concepts that other cities are doing outside of what we're doing? Like, like even the process of, I was speaking to a contractor, and this is about rotating the dollar in our community. I was speaking to a contractor, and he said just going through the process of getting a permit done is a headache. So now I'm in Atlanta, right? And I'm talking to one of the contractors who happened to be from Newark. And he said, "Yo, I would never go build in
Breeze.
Newark, huh?
It's a breeze getting it in
It's
Atlanta.
it's a breeze. It's like they got people who you pay, and they just walk your stuff through."
Yeah, the bureaucracy is different here. But it's always been this way. No matter what mayors have been here in these certain areas, especially Essex County. Essex County is known for being, uh, I let me just say it, corrupt. Period. It's probably the most corrupt county in New Jersey. So let's keep it real. So that's an issue, and I do believe that there is going to be a change. Like these four horsemen that you're talking about, these are young black mayors. Most of our mayors have always been older guys, so they don't see things on the level in which we're talking. Well, we're up in the older echelons at this point, but but our mayors are usually generally in their 60s when they get appointed. And these guys these guys are younger guys. They have younger thoughts and younger ideas. But again, it takes time, and it takes the legislature also as well to put these things into place. And it takes a mayor more than one term. When that mayor has ideas and plans of his own, he has to be reelected to get another 4 terms to try to get something really get done.
Well, I've been in this town. I'm not, and I've seen some great things done. I
Mm-hmm.
just I and I see. It's just, what bothers me is that, um, when I leave out of this town and I go into other towns, I see the richness of people who look like us and how we pull together, how we work together. And I'm like puzzled every time I fly back into this town. And I'm like, wow, why are we like I was in Kearney the other day just driving through, and the Kearney has several blocks that look like 7th Street, 8th Street, 10th Street, and 12th Street, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same houses, same infrastructure, same format but you know what was the difference?
Clean.
They would get out and sweep up in front of their place.
Yeah. What I told you, it starts with us, bro. If we're not going to take the time out to do nothing to help ourselves, how can we expect other people to come in to help us? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
My grandparents lived in North Philly, and North Philly
Mm-hmm.
always been. But my block, my grandfather, God rest his soul, was like the mayor of his block, and that block was clean. Everybody got out and swept their sidewalk and whatever
Mm-hmm.
was in the street in front of their property. Everybody took care of their property. You know what I'm saying? People gotta care. But see, this is the thing why a lot of times, like, ownership is different than being a renter. See, a lot of times renters, they don't care. They
But that's
struggle
one thing.
to pay their
That's
rent.
that's the that's the one thing I do love about what Ross Baraka is doing. When he started that program with Section 8, he started allowing people to turn their Section 8 into home ownership.
Right. That's a good program.
Right. And I thought
That's a good program.
a woman who's busting her butt to get home ownership, right? So I filtered through that program to see how it works. And it's hell, but he's put some houses in place for some of the people. And the thing is that I wonder what it would have been like if he'd have done this 8 years ago, like when the
Right.
home was a little cheaper. Because right now, and because this what I've learned in my reading, there's a certain group of people, they fool us. They say, "Oh, the property value ain't worth nothing. Them houses, you know, boom, boom, 7th Street, don't buy a house on 8th Street, boom." They push that propaganda, right?
Right.
And then there's a community that comes in and buy up everything and turn that same block into luxury homes, luxury
Right.
housing.
Mm-hmm.
So I've learned that they pushing the propaganda that has nothing to do with they push the propaganda to bring the value of the house down so they can buy it and then make the
Bring
whole
the
neighborhood
property value back up once they have it.
like they did in Harlem.
Right.
Now Harlem, they did in Brooklyn. They changed Brooklyn whole.
A brownstone over there is you ain't gonna find a brownstone over there for nothing less than $2 million.
Right. And I remember one time they said nobody wants to live in Harlem.
Right. Brownstones was not good to live in.
But they was buying up everything while they were saying it.
Yeah, and the ones that were smart that held on to them, they got lucky.
Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's just like I said, I just think that if we want to fix things, bro, it starts with us, man. It starts from the bottom, man. We got to want better for ourselves. You, like you saying, going out and cleaning up the front of your house or whatever. Like, just them little things make a difference. It does.
Well, that's Deb, that's why I started. Me and Dr. Spell started the Historical Black College Booster Club, and the reason we started that was because when I started writing the children's book, I was trying to help young people and change the trajectory of their way of their thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was at Winston-Salem State University for that interview, I started thinking about how I could change a teenager who has a mindset of wanting to go to college or want to better themselves, because these are going to be our future leaders.
Right.
And I noticed that some of the most profound brothers in the world came out of HBCUs.
Yeah.
Black College.
Absolutely.
Right. And even our mayor in the city of Newark came from an HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
And Minister Farrakhan came from an HBCU. I can go on and on and on.
Oh, yeah.
Stephen A. came from an HBCU.
Right.
The Vice President of the United States came from an HBCU.
Yes, she did.
I mean, brother after brother. Blaylock, who's a friend of mine who owns properties all over the U.S., came from an HBCU. So,
well, let's not forget the first college in this country was started by a black man. So,
was it?
Yeah.
So the thing is that it, like, I remember I was pushing my daughter to go to Yale or Harvard. So that's blew my,
because of the name.
I was stupid back then. I was dumb. So my daughter, she get good grades. She's at North Star.
Mm-hmm.
And all her friends were saying, "We going to Yale." They had pictures of Yale, the dorm room of Yale, everything Yale. And my next door neighbor went to Harvard. And my other neighbor on the other side of me graduated from Harvard, Princeton. He graduated from 2 Ivy League schools. Dr. Ben, I think his brother, they graduated from 2 Ivy League schools. And I'm pushing Asada to go here, and I'm saying, so Asada got a chance to get a taste of an HBCU, and she said to me, she said, "Daddy, I don't want to go. I want to go to a black college."
She want to be around her people.
Right. So now what I'm doing is pushing historical black universities, and I was just on the phone before this interview started. I was with Dr. Spell, and Dr. Spell, I told Dr. Spell, I said, listen, I said I put a GoFund out for $1 million because I said we're going to raise $1 million in the next couple of years for historical Black colleges. And Dr. Spell was like, Rob, I'm with you. Because I said it is important for Black men and women to jump on board and start supporting these historical Black universities. But I'm glad you came on and had this conversation with me.
Absolutely.
I know, and I'm glad to have you. And I tell everybody, you got to spend your money in your own community.
Yes.
And you may have a bad experience at one place, but go to the next place.
That's true. You have choices.
Right. And go to the next place and support. I support our promoters. I support our Black restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
I try to get my t-shirts off the side of the road from that Black young brother.
Right.
Socks, I try to go out my way. Sometimes I'll go on. If I had to go in a bodega, I get the t-shirt, but I'm mad because I went in there because I wanted to give my money to somebody who looked like me. Now, and right. I don't have nothing against with people who don't look like me, but I just want to give it to people who look like me because we have been oppressed and we have been treated wrongly, we have been treated wrong in the last 400 or 500 years.
Absolutely. And let me say this: even if you go to a Black establishment and you might not have a great experience the first time, talk to the owner or the manager and express to them and give them a suggestion or tell them what your situation is. Give them another chance. If they don't straighten it up, then that's a different story. Just don't not return because you had one bad experience.
Right. Because we can go to Nordstrom's and get treated wrong and go right back in there and buy them Louis Vuitton shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
I done seen it.
Yeah.
I done seen it.
Yes.
Young lady go in there, like they don't even act like she there, and they go right back up there. I'm going to get them Louis shoes.
Right. So there you go.
But they being treated like garbage.
Yeah. Right.
Hey, Dev, thanks for having. I'm glad to have you, and
appreciate it, bro. Glad to be here.
Into another conversation, and enjoy yourself. Good night.
Absolutely. Thank you.